Hello, my name is Jen, and I am really honored to share my story with you today. My story highlights how generous God is and how He can redeem what is broken and lost. I'm here today because I am a graduate of the Heart Program. I had my first son at 19, my second son at 21, and my third son at 22. I was living with a then partner, and to say that it was absolutely awful is not even close. There I was, a 22-year-old mother of 3 in a horrible relationship where I was mentally and emotionally and verbally abused. My partner drank, used drugs, and even cheated on me. I was in this situation that I found myself unexpectedly pregnant with my 4th child. I felt so hopeless, so defeated, so scared, and so utterly alone. How could I have another baby with this man whose cruelty was evident every single day? How could I bring another child into this environment? Growing up, I would be what you would consider pro-life. I grew up knowing that my mother was talked out of aborting me by her doctor. Even with that background, I felt backed into an impossible corner, and I made a choice I never thought I would. I made the choice to have an abortion. My abortion was a cold, mechanical, unfeeling experience. There was no empathy or care or concern. That day, I felt like I was a number in a long line of appointments. I left even more lonely and defeated than when I had arrived, but this time without my baby inside me. Even through the loneliness, I had 3 boys to raise, so I pulled myself up and I went on about my life. I pushed that memory to the back of my mind, well, at least until I found out that I was pregnant again 4 months later. I felt like such a fool. I felt so ashamed. How could I have allowed myself to be so stupid, so careless, and so irresponsible? So I did the unthinkable. I had a second abortion. In some ways, my second abortion was easier because I knew what to expect. But in so many ways, it was so much harder because I knew exactly what to expect. After that, I tried to ignore my abortions, to pretend that they didn't happen and just move on with my life. I made a promise to myself after my second abortion that I would never do that again. But could I trust myself? I'd already done it twice. Would I do it again? Yet despite the lack of faith in myself, God is faithful. Sometime later, I became pregnant again with my 4th son, and I carried him to term. By God's grace, I kept my promise to myself and to God, and I kept him. I was elated to have another son, my baby boy. Fast forward several years later, and I knew that Jesus wanted to set me free from my past and my pain. I learned about the ministry of Heart and knew that this was something I needed to do. I joined Heart, and so much changed. I began to understand why my youngest son holds such a special place in my heart. He's proof that I could keep a promise to myself. He was a life I didn't destroy, a blessing I didn't deserve. It wasn't until I stopped running from the pain of my past and my abortions that I was able to understand so many things. It was when I surrendered my abortions into the loving arms of Jesus and admitted for the first time what I had done that true healing, forgiveness, and release of so much pain and guilt and shame took place. Without the ministry of Heart, I don't think I could have come to that place. I am very thankful for the Heart group, for the opportunity to experience forgiveness and joy at a different level. I wrote a poem about my healing journey, and if you don't mind, I'd like to share it with you now. What a fool I was to think I could just move on, simply going about my life raising my 3 sons. I believed I was strong. I said I was okay. Why revisit that story? Why go back to that day? Little did I know I was so very wrong. I was not okay. I was just headstrong. What I really was a frightened and timid girl, not wanting to disrupt my house of cards world. Sturdy on the outside, the framing seemed intact, but weak, unsettled, and broken was the actual fact. How could I go back to a time of such shame? where the decision was mine alone. On my shoulders laid the blame. It was easier to bury, to push it far away. To ignore it was protection, keeping the pain at bay. I knew this was a secret I could no longer keep, so I started bringing to the surface something I kept buried very deep. Now that the secret is being brought into the light, Jesus is helping me to heal, helping make things right, allowing me to be open to the blessings yet to come, while still relishing in the long past blessing of giving me my fourth son. It's a journey I am on where I am no longer alone, and it's a journey that will take me all the way home. Thank you so much for your time and allowing me to share my story.